A Course in Miracles is a fully worded version of what yoga is. Yoga means to connect with the divine, with your divine self, that at the core of it is the same as the divine itself. And when that connection is there, you can call it yoga. Well, this is a book. It's a pretty hefty book. It's really a tome of 1500 pages approximately, I believe, and it is a fully worded version of what that connection with the divine self and the divine itself is. And that makes it stand out. It is actually something that is like you could meditate, okay, you could be with a teacher and have an energy transmission of this central vibration of the divine to you in a guru-student relationship. You could do yoga in the sense of some gentle body postures that induce in you the feeling of union with yourself and with the divine, and that's what it is about. And you indeed reach that via those postures. All of that can give to you the experience of union consciousness, of that we're actually all divine children that are one. And this book, called A Course in Miracles, does exactly that for you, but then with words. And that is such a different thing. It is really an experience. It's indeed such that when you read it, from the reading itself, your consciousness starts to shift. It is true that it is a theory book and with a whole couple of chapters, and there's also a workbook with 365 lessons that ask you to execute some ideas so that you get all kinds of small parts of this whole truth of the unity consciousness down. Day by day, you can do them for a whole year long, for instance, one lesson a day. It's just an idea. And that's what the course is built out of. And there's even a manual for teachers, because you can be a student of it, you can be a teacher of it, and they're actually the same. And it can even be at the same time. Although there is a time difference between student and teacher, but time then again is an illusion, so that's all very interesting. It all leads to union consciousness, and that is why I use it for twin flames. That's why I use it for the beginning of this ascended living that calls in your entire abundance right here, right now, that twin flames are. Because twin flames live on that union consciousness level. They indeed live at the end of your progress, would you be meditating. They live at the end of your spiritual journey, would you be with the guru in a relationship. They come at the end of being in yoga with yoga postures and having fulfilled the entire journey of that, and then being beyond that, and there the twin flame is. This book is what that does in itself. It's just an experience, and that is why I use it. I do a full 1.5 hour monthly workshop, or actually a club in which we're just peers, students, speaking about this book and speaking about a little fragment that we read that day of that book. In the A Course in Miracles book reading club, which is in our Facebook community that it takes place, and it is totally just there for you, open for you to participate in. It is a beautiful way to let your consciousness, your mind, be streamlined in the direction of where twin flames live. And that truly works, and it's really, really, really helpful. I cannot emphasize enough how helpful it is, but I know that for people it is really an unknown at this point. When they hear this, they're like, yeah, okay, but you know, my twin flame is just walking away with this other person and I just feel hate feelings about that, and that really makes me feel profoundly rejected. I don't know, there could be some sort of book out there. I don't know, man. Why would I care about such a book? Okay, it's blue, it has golden letters. Okay, well, whatever. I don't get my twin flame back from that, do I? But the answer is you actually do get your twin flame back from that book. So that just may be something completely new that you had no idea of, but there it is. It is a book that is in the language of it, combining coaching language, psychology, but also there's language of religion, and the religious language used comes from Christianity, but it's not a Christian book. They use these kind of words that refer to Christianity because you need some sort of way to point towards spiritual concepts that otherwise are not or very hard to express. And that's why we have words like salvation and like the sonship, which is actually also the daughtership, because that is just regarded as one. And through this book, you will learn what it means to really go to the realm of actual reality of union, because that is the ultimate reality and the only reality according to A Course in Miracles. The only reality there is the divine place made out of pure light, where you are purely how God created you to be, which is as a twin flame with all your spirit parts together, right? Because that's the truth of your being. You see how that fits together, right? And when you remember that you are that divine truth, you can start to see that your interpretation of the body and the world and other people had been wrong. And you can start to change your mind about them. And that's the happening, the experience that starts to change you through this method, through this book. And yes, the twin flame journey, to be able to be leading to success, will need you to change your mind about things, to change your consciousness, to change your experiences. And the place where you experience from, in fact, because that will need to go from the ego to the spirit or the soul, however you want to call it, itself. Sometimes I like to refer to the soul as belonging to the one person, but it's actually the same thing, that invisible truth vibration inside of you that is the same as the spirit. That seems to me more fit as a word that comes in when you talk about where you're one with your true twin flame. But the book actually says that that spirit is actually, you could call it the Christ consciousness, but you could also call it the Krishna consciousness, or whatever you call it, because the name of it doesn't matter in itself. And it says that there is only one of it, and we're all one there. Well, wow. But when you are one with yourself, you are indeed one with the self, with your spirit parts, and that is you and your twin flame, and you're one as the union. And then, as the bigger step, says the A Course in Miracles book, you are also in that union consciousness with all other people, because there's only one union consciousness in the universe. Yeah, and that's how you can start to experience what it's like to be in harmonious twin flame union with your true twin flame. And that really works. Now, my second talking point is, I do use and advise A Course in Miracles because it is from the Christed Masters, the underlying method. That is true. Like Buddha and Jesus the Christ and Nefertiti and many more very well-known spiritual teachers, they actually form one soul family, and their underlying original teaching is brought to light when in the 60s and 70s, from that consciousness out, this book was channeled and manifested and written down. And it refers to what the underlying consciousness change is that all these Christed Masters throughout the years and the ages have been trying to talk about to you so that you can experience it. And this is a very direct, however worded, but direct way in which you can approach that. And it is not for nothing that that came out in our time right now. And it is a method to start to tune into what the Christ Masters are saying. And thus it is also a direct way to call upon the resurrection of the Christed mind in everybody, because everyone is part of the Christ mind. And that is what the so-called second coming is about. That is known in very many cultures actually under different names, even though sometimes the wordings that I choose as well are sounding Christian, they're actually multicultural. But for the sake of communicating, I cannot always immediately sum up this whole list, because then this would be a very long video. So I hope you understand that. I have worked with the Christed Masters, and that's why this is also important to me. And this new Christ mind alignment on a bigger scale that the second coming refers to is a standing up of the twin flames, because when you go into the Christ mind and live there, you will live with your true twin flame in harmonious union there. Because that's just what you are. And it is about remembering who you truly are. Well, we all start to remember now we're twin flames too. So that is an entrance to that whole thing, to that whole life. And the Christed Masters, they're 14 right now on the earth. They're also here now to support all of this happening now. And actually, the third reason I use this is because I like to extend the method of the Christed Masters indeed to people I work with, because I co-create with them what I already said. But yeah, this was actually my separate point 3, because I do co-create with them, and I like to therefore to also give people I work with the opportunity to work with A Course in Miracles if they like it. And if they feel like this is really the way for them, that feels good to them, then they can go all the way with it. That's fine for me, and I can guide them with the A Course in Miracles attuned guidance through my possibilities as well. And that would be perfect for me. But I actually co-create with the Christed Masters, and therefore with their method of their underlying methodology that they use. I don't create only with that, I co-create with that. But it is important to me, because I'm only here because I co-create with them, because this has formed me on a fundamental level. Me that feels very much related to more of a heritage and an inheritance, a spiritual inheritance of what I would call the magicians, has co-created with the Christed Masters of the Christed Soul family. And this is what traditionally happens. They meet each other in the divine wisdom sense, and they initiate each other. And this is what happened to me, and that is why I am here for you. That's what I'm doing here. That's what I pass on. That's what my life is about, and that's what my teachership is about. And the fourth reason why I extend A Course in Miracles to you is because it pairs perfectly with my own energy attuned method. as if both of these methods are actually twin flames. If methods could be twin flames, then these would be. That's what I want to say about it. They're not actually twin flames, of course, but this is a figure of speech. But if methods could be twin flames, they would be. I think that's just such a beautiful thing to get a grasp on, if you could. But if you come closer to me and start to work with me more deeper, then you will start to have an understanding about what I mean. My methodology is about understanding that this divine mind truth stands there autonomously in God and as God, and that can influence us in our energy experience. And I will often approach it from the energy experience and then not regurgitating that energy experience as if that really does something, but do things there that create an openness so that you can be influenced by the fact that there is this truth vibration, and that can influence you there. So that's how I would say how those two methodologies co-create. So you don't need to find faults in my videos or on other places for that I don't speak A Course in Miracles language all the time, because I don't try to. I speak my own, whatever comes out of me when I'm attuned to my harmonious union state of being. And I just recognize that my natural attunement is to this energy work, and that it perfectly co-creates with the truth vibration in a very direct way of the Christed Masters that is written down in A Course in Miracles. And I hope that you are coming closer to me so that you one day can experience it yourself as well. Today we had an A Course in Miracles book reading club in our community on Facebook that is called Your Abundance, and then we start up a Zoom call and we're together there and we just open the book as if it is an oracle, and then a text rolls out and we just start to read it and talk about what we think that it means. How does it feel to you? How does it apply to your situation at this moment? And we speak our minds about that, and then we read something more and then we talk about that more, etc. And it's always such an interesting but truly soul nourishing experience that really nourishes you into the union consciousness that the Harmonious Twin Flame Union is all about. So I really would love that for you too, and you would be very welcome. I share some of my experiences with the Christed Masters in another video, and I will send you there now. It will be here in a couple of seconds, and it is one of the topics that I talk about in that video, and I hope that may inspire you as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you there.